If you're the kind of viewer who thinks you've already seen the darkest stories the American prison system has to offer, think again. Hit subscribe, like, and drop a comment below, because what you're about to hear is not just a story, it's a warning whispered through steel bars and concrete walls. Welcome to USP Beaumont, or, as the inmates call it, Bloody Beaumont. The first time anyone outside heard the name was after a violent incident that unfolded during a humid Texas morning long before sunrise. The fog rolled in low over the fields, swallowing the razor-wire perimeter like a creature waking from sleep. At 5:47 a.m., two correctional officers found a man lying motionless in the corner of the recreation yard. His breathing was shallow, his hands were bruised, and beside him, half buried in the mud, was a scrap of paper with 4 words written in pencil. He shouldn't have talked. To the investigators who arrived minutes later, it looked like another assault, one of hundreds. But this case would unravel a story so tangled, so dangerous, and so deeply rooted in the prison's past that it would reveal the truth behind why USP Beaumont earned its infamous nickname. And it would all start with one inmate, Marcus Hall. Marcus had arrived at Beaumont only 4 months earlier. He wasn't a gang member. He wasn't a long-time criminal. He was a former offshore oil worker from Louisiana who made a terrible choice one night, driving drunk after a fight with his brother. 1 collision, 1 fatality, 1 guilty plea, 10 years in federal prison. He was supposed to serve his sentence quietly. He was supposed to keep his head down. But Beaumont wasn't built for quiet, and nothing stayed hidden for long. When Marcus first stepped inside Beaumont's main corridor, a long tunnel of flickering lights and peeling paint, he felt the weight of 1,000 stories pressing down on him. Inmates whispered names behind him. Guards scanned him like a puzzle piece they didn't quite trust. Every sound echoed. Every stare meant something. But it wasn't until his 3rd week that he learned the first rule of Beaumont. Everything comes with a price. It started in the chow hall. A man everyone called Red, a stocky inmate with tattoos crawling up his neck, dropped a folded napkin next to Marcus' tray. Inside was a message, "You work for us now." Marcus didn't know who us was, but he knew danger when he saw it. Later that night, a correctional officer named Viral stopped by his cell. She was one of the rare officers the inmate spoke about with a strange mixture of respect and fear. Soft-spoken, sharp eyes, the type who noticed things. "You get something today?" she asked. Marcus hesitated. He didn't want trouble, but trouble had already found him. Eventually, he nodded. Viral sighed, leaning against the bars. "You don't say yes. You don't say no. You just stay alive. That's your only job here." But staying alive at Beaumont was a daily negotiation. Every inmate belonged to a group, even if they didn't want to. Racial lines, regional alliances, old debt from the outside. Marcus had none of these shields, which made him useful, vulnerable, disposable. 2 weeks after receiving the napkin, a fight broke out on the tier. 3 men. No warning. No noise except for fists hitting bone and boots on concrete. The aftermath left blood smeared along the floor like someone had dragged a paintbrush across it. The warden issued a lockdown. Officers flooded the unit, and in the confusion, someone slipped a note under Marcus' door. "Midnight. C-block stairwell. Don't make us come get you." He didn't go, and the next morning, he found the body in the rec yard. The injured man, later identified as Samuel Grit Collins, had a reputation. Someone who handled errands for powerful inmates. A man no one touched unless they had a reason. And lying next to him was a message. He shouldn't have talked. When investigators reviewed the yard cameras, one thing stood out. Marcus had been assigned yard time the same hour, but he never showed up. His absence wasn't proof. But in Beaumont, absence was noise. Within hours, he was placed in an interview room, a narrow space with a metal table bolted into the floor. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry insects. 2 investigators entered, 1 federal marshal, 1 prison lieutenant. Both carried clipboards. Neither smiled. "You know Collins?" the marshal asked. "Not really." "You were on his schedule. Same time, same block." "Doesn't mean I know him." The lieutenant leaned forward. "Somebody thinks you talked. That's why Collins is in the infirmary." Marcus felt a chill. "Talk about what?" No one will tell us, the marshal said. But if you're smart, you'll start talking now. Marcus told him everything he knew, which wasn't much. Napkin. Note. Threat. Fear. The investigators exchanged glances. Something in his answers made them sit up straighter. He was supposed to meet someone last night, the marshal said. We found this in his shoe. He slid a small paper across the table. Marcus stared at it. His stomach dropped. It was the exact same handwriting as a note delivered to him. The investigators waited for a reaction. Anything. But Marcus stayed silent. When they released him back to the unit, the hallway felt colder than usual. Inmates stood still, watching him return from the interview room. Their eyes were sharp, calculating, confirming. Someone had set Marcus up. But for what? That night, as the unit settled into uneasy quiet, Marcus heard a whisper through his cell bars. "Ho!" the voice murmured. "You shouldn't have gone to the feds." He jumped to his feet. "I didn't go to." But the voice cut him off. "Doesn't matter. They think you did. And they are coming tonight." Marcus presses back against the cold cell wall, heart pounding. Because in Beaumont, threats didn't come without intent. And when the lights flickered, once, twice, and the unit door buzzed open, he realized the warning had been right. Someone was coming, and they weren't coming alone. What Marcus saw next would unravel everything he thought he understood about Beaumont, and make him wish he'd never stepped inside its gates. The second the unit door buzzed open, Marcus felt the temperature in his cell drop. Footsteps echoed through the hallway, slow, synchronized, deliberate. Not the horrid stomping of guards during emergencies. Not the chaotic shuffle of inmates sneaking around during shift change. These steps had rhythm, purpose. Someone had planned this. Marcus pressed his ear against the cold steel bars, listening as the footsteps grew closer. 2 men stopped at the end of the tier. Their outlines were barely visible under the dim lights, but Marcus recognized the taller one instantly. Red, the same inmate who had slipped that message onto his tray 3 weeks earlier. Behind him stood a second figure, slimmer, quieter, but holding something metallic in his hand. A padlock, looped through a fist. A prison-made weapon. Red scanned the row like he was searching for a name on a list. When his eyes landed on Marcus' cell, a slow grin formed. "There he is," Red said. "The man of the hour." Marcus backed away from the bars, pulse hammering in his throat. "I didn't talk to anyone," he said. Red chuckled. "Doesn't matter what you did. Somebody says you did. And in here, perception is the only truth that counts." Before Marcus could answer, keys jingled down the hall. A guard patrolled into view, Officer Villarreal. Her boots clicked sharply against the concrete as she approached a cluster of inmates. "What's going on down here?" she asked. Red slid the padlock out of sight with practiced ease. "Just talking, boss." She looked at him, unblinking, unamused. "Talk somewhere else." Red's eyes flickered, the briefest sign of irritation, but he obeyed. With a nod to the man behind him, he walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the tier. The danger didn't vanish with him. It simply retreated, waiting. Villarreal approached Marcus' cell. "You need to understand something," she said quietly. "Someone is using you as a first move in a bigger game." Marcus swallowed hard. "Who?" "That's the part we don't know yet." She paused, glancing over her shoulder before leaning closer to the bars. "But I do know this. Whoever set you up won't stop until someone pays. And right now, you're the cheapest option." Marcus felt his stomach twist. "So what do I do?" Villarreal hesitated, a rare crack in her professional armor. "Stay alive long enough for us to figure out why they wanted Collins taken out. Someone put your name in this mess for a reason." With that, she turned and walked off, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts, and a growing dread that Beaumont's walls were closing in. The next morning, the prison hummed with tension. Rumors moved faster than officers. Outside the chow hall, groups clustered together, Latinos at one table, Southern inmates at another, a quiet but dangerous group of older prisoners along the far wall. Eyes followed Marcus like he was carrying a lit fuse. He sat alone, tray untouched. That's when a man slid into the seat across from him, someone Marcus had never seen before. Tall, gray hair, calm presence, not affiliated with any group. "You ho," the man asked. Marcus didn't answer. The stranger smiled faintly. Relax. I'm not here for trouble. Name's Dawson. Been here longer than most of the guards. Marcus looked around. Everyone seemed too quiet. What do you want? He asked. Dawson leaned in. Information. You were supposed to be in the yard when Collins got hit. But you weren't. Why? Because someone threatened me, Marcus said. Someone left a note. Dawson's expression didn't change, but something sharpened in his eyes. What did it say? Midnight. C block stairwell. Dawson exhaled slowly. That's where a lot of off-the-record exchanges happen. Drugs, favors, messages. Someone wanted you there because someone else expected Collins to be there. You didn't show, but Collins did. You think they wanted him attacked instead of me? Marcus asked. Dawson shook his head. No, I think they wanted both of you in the same place for a reason. But something changed. He tapped his fingers on the table, thinking. Collins told someone something. Dawson said finally, something he shouldn't have. And whatever it was, you were supposed to be the one blamed for it. Marcus felt a cold shiver. I don't know anything, he whispered. Dawson stood. Exactly, which makes you the perfect fool guy. Before Marcus could ask more, 2 officers entered the chow hall and announced an emergency recall. All inmates were ordered out. As they marched back, the prison buzzed with new energy. Something had happened. When they reached the unit, Marcus saw it. Officers stood in front of a cell 3 doors down from his. Tape across the doorway. A medical team rushing out with a stretcher. A body on it. Covered. In Beaumont, covered always meant the same thing. Whispers exploded around the tier. That's Omar. He was in the stairwell last night. They are saying he knew what Collins was gonna say. Someone's cleaning up loose ends. Marcus' breath caught. Someone had been silenced. Someone connected to the same message intended for him. As the stretcher passed his cell, Marcus noticed something. A slip of paper was taped to the sheet, for words written in pencil. He shouldn't have talked. The same message, the same handwriting. But this time, there was something else beneath it. A second line. A name. His name. Oh, a tremor went through him. Dawson appeared at his side, voice low. That's your warning. Someone thinks you know more than you do. You need protection. I don't have anyone, Marcus said. Dawson's jaw tightened. You do now. Marcus felt both relief and fear, because alliances in Beaumont came with consequences, and accepting help meant stepping into a world he didn't want any part of. But as officers sealed off the scene and inmates whispered theories, Marcus realized something crucial. Someone inside Beaumont was orchestrating a chain of attacks, collapsing the chessboard, eliminating witnesses, and steering suspicion directly toward him. And whoever it was, they had access, influence, and a long reach. That night, just past lights out, a small folded note slipped under Marcus' cell door. He opened it with trembling fingers. I know what Collins told you. Meet me at the showers. Alone. Marcus stared at the message. There was only one problem. Collins hadn't told him anything, and the signature at the bottom made his blood run cold. It was signed by the one person he thought he could trust. Officer Viral. Marcus stared at the signature at the bottom of the note, as if the ink itself might start moving. Officer Viral, the one guard he believed was trying to keep him alive. The one person who warned him that a bigger game was unfolding. And now she was asking to meet him alone, in one of the most isolated, least supervised parts of the prison. He read the message again. I know what Collins told you. Meet me at the showers. Alone. But Collins hadn't told him anything. Collins hadn't even spoken to him. The only connection between them was a note in the yard, the one that nearly got Marcus blamed for an attack he never saw. So, why would she write this? Unless she didn't write it. Unless someone wanted him in that shower room for the same reason they wanted him in the C-block stairwell. Unless someone wanted him gone. Marcus folded the message, slid it under his mattress, and sat on the edge of his bunk. His breathing felt too loud, too heavy. Prison made every sound a threat. Every creak of metal. Every footstep on concrete. Every whisper behind a closed cell. A few minutes later, he heard Dawson's voice from the next cell. You got another note, didn't you? Marcus didn't bother denying it. Someone wants me in the showers. That's a bad place to be after dark, Dawson said. No cameras. Worst blind spot in the unit. If they want to corner you, that's where they do it. Marcus leaned against the wall dividing their cells. What do I do? There was a long silence. Then Dawson answered, You go. Marcus blinked. Are you insane? No, Dawson said calmly. But the person orchestrating this, they're getting bold. They think you're scared. They think you'll follow any breadcrumb they drop. If you ignore the note, they'll just change tactics. If you follow it, we might finally see who's pulling the strings. Marcus swallowed hard. So you want to use me as bait? Bait survives, Dawson said. Victims don't. 30 minutes later, after the tear quieted, Marcus slipped out into the dimly lit hallway during a routine movement window. The air smelled faintly of disinfectant and old grout. His heart pounded as he reached the shower entrance, a narrow room with rows of tiled stalls and drains that gurgled like they were swallowing secrets. The light above the doorway flickered. He stepped inside. Viral, he whispered. No answer. Water dripped from one of the shower heads in the back, echoing like a ticking clock. Marcus took a step toward it. Another drip. Another step. When he turned the corner toward the last stall, he froze. Someone was standing there, but it wasn't Officer Viral. It was Red, hands in his pockets. Calm, almost relieved to see him. Ho, Red said, you should have minded your business. Marcus took a step back. I don't know anything. Red smirked. Everybody knows something. And you were supposed to be in that yard when Collins got hit. You weren't. Then Omar shows up dead with your name written right underneath his. Someone's trying to make you a story. And stories don't live long in Beaumont. Marcus felt the walls tightening around him. Who set me up? Red stepped closer. That doesn't matter. It matters to me. Red paused, just long enough for Marcus to catch a flash of something in his eyes. Fear. Not of Marcus. Of someone else. You want answers. Red said, then ask the one who wrote those notes. The one who's been playing both sides since the second you got here. Marcus shook his head. Who? Red looked past Marcus, toward the door. Marcus turned. Standing there was Officer Viral. For a moment, Marcus didn't breathe. She stepped inside the shower room, letting the door shut behind her. Her expression was unreadable. Calm. Controlled. As if the chaos surrounding the prison had never touched her. Ho, she said quietly. I told you to stay alive, not to get brave. Marcus backed away. You sent Red after me? You wrote the notes. No, she said, but I know who did. Red stiffened. You shouldn't. Viral raised a hand. Red fell silent instantly. That was the first clear sign. She had more control over him than any inmate should have had with a guard. Marcus felt the realization hit him like a brick. You're working with them, he said. Viral didn't deny it. Control in a place like this doesn't come from badges or uniforms, she said. It comes from information. And someone around here has been leaking information that doesn't belong on the outside. Marcus frowned. What information? Viral stepped closer. Someone has been using inmates as couriers. Messages going out. Payments coming in. Collins was part of that chain. Omar, too. When Collins threatened to expose it, he was taken out before he could talk. Omar knew the next piece of the puzzle, so Omar disappeared. Marcus felt his throat tighten. And me? Someone saw you talk to the marshals after Collins was hurt, Viral said. They assumed you were a weak link, so they put your name on the cleanup list. So why help me? Marcus asked. Viral's jaw tightened. Because I need someone who isn't involved. Someone with no alliances. Someone they underestimate. Someone like you. Red stepped forward. This isn't what we agreed. Viral shot him a look. Red froze again. Now Marcus was certain. She was in deeper than anyone suspected. This whole prison is a network of favors, Viral continued. Some inmates move contraband. Some move messages. Some make sure no one asks the wrong questions. And me? Marcus whispered. What do you want from me? Viral took a breath. Collins didn't talk to you. I know that, but he tried to tell someone else before he was silenced. He left a message hidden in the rec yard, and whoever finds it first changes everything. Marcus felt the world tilt. This isn't about me, he said. It's about whatever Collins knew. Viral nodded once. Red shifted uneasily. We shouldn't be talking like this. Viral ignored him. Ho, whether you like it or not, you're in this now. Collins trusted the wrong person. Omar trusted the wrong person. You need to trust someone. And that someone is you. Marcus asked. If you want to survive, she said, yes. Before Marcus could answer, the alarm blared through the unit. Lights flashed. A voice shouted over the intercom. All units. Code red. Inmate escape attempt. Lockdown immediately. Vireal's eyes went wide, the first time Marcus had seen true alarm on her face. This wasn't part of the plan, she whispered. Red cursed under his breath. Outside the showers, heavy boots thundered through the hallway. Radios crackled. Officers barked orders. Someone had just blown up the entire operation. Viral grabbed Marcus by the arm. We're out of time, she said. Collins's message. Someone's already looking for it. If they find it first, every death so far will be for nothing. And you'll be next. What do you want me to do? Marcus asked. Viral's voice dropped into a harsh whisper. Find the message before they do. And if I don't? Viral met his eyes. Then you won't leave Beaumont alive. Just then, the shower door burst open. An officer Marcus had never seen before aimed straight at Viral. Step away from the inmate, he ordered. Now! Viral lifted her hands, but her eyes never left Marcus. Ho! She said softly. Remember what I told you. The officer grabbed her by the arm and pulled her into the hallway. Red vanished the opposite direction. Marcus stood alone in the shower room, frozen in the echo of alarms. Only one thought remained. Whatever Collins hid, it was still somewhere inside Beaumont, and Marcus Hall was the only one who had a chance to find it. The story of Bloody Beaumont wasn't ending. It was just beginning. And for everyone watching, if you think this was intense, you're not ready for what comes next. Subscribe so you don't miss it.